All right, this is Kevin, and of course I have to say it. This is one of my favorite armies. I think I end up always saying something like that, right? But anyway, Iberia, as we all know, is Spain today. The western side of it was very west and north, very Celtic oriented. The south, Lusitanian, and on the eastern coast, Phoenician and Greek. What a wonderful culture this is and still is. But they have great lovers of horses, farming, had some of the best wares of the day, very strong craftsmen. Their weapons were next to none. In fact, they would rather die than lose their weapon. Their cavalry was some of the best of the known world. Their strategy and tactics were feared. They pretty much perfected the feigned retreat, but their weaponry was used to great effect. Even the Romans adapted it. So your gladius, your pelium, your use of the shields. So I think that they really gave a lot, even the falcata. So I really think this army is a lot of fun to play with. It's a great little army, and I think that it is, well, it's one that I need to do a little bit more painting on. I think it's probably the shields I need to do a little bit more work on, but it's a great army. It plays well for the First Punic War, Second Punic War, even the wars of Roman conquest of the Iberian Peninsula, which, by the way, took them a very, very long time to do. And, they had, I think, just some fantastic cities. I mean, if you look into it. But I like the Balearic Slingers. I think those are just fantastic, the Balearic Islands. Anyway, I hope you really enjoy this army. I know Hannibal did. And I know that Scipio did, so if they did, I don't see why you shouldn't. Anyway, if I represent something falsely or you think I could add to it, please put it in the comments. But I think everybody knows this army if they're a reader of history. And I think it makes for a great gaming army, and the history of this country is super rich. Hey, this is Kevin. This time, and I just finished it. This is hot off the press. I just finished my ancient Spanish army. Now, when I say just finished, I have to explain. I've been painting this army over many, many years, like all the rest. But I did buy a piece of this army from a friend of mine, Simon. And it was of a very good quality, but I needed to morph it into the Spanish that I already have or had. And I bought some more figures from Forged in Battle and then rebased his, repainted and touched up a lot of things so that it kind of looked like an army that fit together. And that's exactly what I did, and it turned out beautifully. I reorganized it. So let's take a look at it. I'll start with the general unit. So I usually like to have my generals based on a larger circular stand. So this is the Army Commander. It's a little bit larger. And I think that really shows it. And I usually have 3 battle groups. So there's, of course, a smaller stand, and there's a smaller stand. Little vignettes, so 2 sub-generals and 1 main general. I decided to not make it very cavalry heavy, but it's got 4 units of cavalry with some light skirmishers as support, but you can see the figures are really, really nice from Forged in Battle. Yeah, okay. So anyway, the Forged in Battle are, I think, really, really nice figures. They blend in extremely well with like Essex. They blend in well with Zeiston in some cases. You might have to keep the units separate, but I mean, they do look pretty good. The reason I like them is because the spears are one casting. The cavalry is easily painted. And they just melt in well with each other. And I'm a big fan of mixing and matching anyway. This is a forged in battle army entirely, with a little bit of Corvus belly mixed in here. There's a Corvus belly figure right there, for an example. But I think that it's a nice army. So what I did is, usually a unit for me is either one stand or two stands if I'm having a little bit larger game. And so I created here two battle lines of Spanish, ancient Spanish warriors. That's this particular line, and they've got the smaller round shields. And then the forward line are more Celtiberians. So these are a little bit more heavily armored, larger shields. They had generally very, very ornate shield patterns. I probably will go back and paint a few more shields. I got a little bit lazy, which nobody beat me up over, please. There's a few just plain colored shields, but you know, hey, sometimes that just kind of happens, you know what I mean? But anyway, so there's another flank of cavalry with support. I decided on this army to have a little bit heavier skirmisher screen. So there's some really nice units of slings. And you'll notice I mount my skirmishers on a 40 by 40 base. That way they can be teeny units because I play Hail Caesar. It also works for To the Strongest. It works for other rule sets because everything is based up, or I can do that. 2 units of slings, or 4 depending on how you look at it, and the rest are javelin units, and a lot of forward harassing skirmish, and within a battle line behind it. You could take a part of this army and mix it in with the Carthaginians. You could mix it up with Numidians. You can mix this with the Romans fighting alongside of them. So you can see it's a pretty large army, to be honest. It's a beautiful army. It's a warband army with heavy skirmishers. You can use this army to fight the Romans. Naturally, you can use it to fight the Celts, the Germans. You can use it to fight the Carthaginians. Lots of different options. So it is a nice army to build, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I'll put up some pics and do my normal thing, but it's another small, compact army, part of the ancient world, and I hope you enjoyed it. You take care.